Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Stelter is out at CNN. Vox, why CNN pushed out Brian Stelter and canceled reliable sources. Wall Street Journal, Brian Stelter to leave CNN after cancellation of reliable sources. NPR, Brian Stelter to depart CNN as it cancels reliable sources media show. And then NBC, CNN. Hit subscribe to this channel. I've been talking about this for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. I said he's on his way out. We all knew this. It didn't take Nostradamus to tell you that Brian Stelter was out. And here's the reason. When you have a show that's named Reliable Sources, and you are an extension of the Democratic Party, and you are going to serve as a mouthpiece, an echo chamber of one political side, you're not reliable, and your sources are W. Wasserman Schultz or Hillary Clinton or whatever. So all he did, see, there isn't really a market now for a new Brian Stelter because you have Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, everyone is Saturday Night Live, every aging 50 to 60 to 70 to 80-year-old Hollywood celebrity and director and producer. You have people who work at Twitter, social media algorithms. You have everyone at MSNBC, pretty much everyone at CNN. And so, you need somebody looking at media and giving you the perspective, giving you the justifying. What he did was try to justify the indefensible. So when the Steele dossier was published by BuzzFeed, that was viewed as raw intelligence. That was viewed as appropriate. If Trump were to make a claim that's not accurate, oh my God, it's baseless, how dare you, you can't repeat it. If you repeat it, you'll never work again, and you should never have been born. So, the political side that Stelter is on has a million Brian Stelters. Also, Ted Koppel, who is no fan of Trump, took him to task years back, saying if you didn't obsess over Trump, you wouldn't make the money that you're making. They made money sowing division. See, they say that Trump sowed division, but he really didn't. He just was who he is. The problem is it's like your liberal friends and family members who want to disown you because you have a rational, logical, fact-based, reality-based approach to supporting Trump. You want record low unemployment. You want record highs in household median income, which is what we had in 2019. You want a record low in poverty. CNN reported in 2019 we had both a record high in household median income and the lowest poverty rate on record since 1959. So that's why you support Trump. Okay? You don't support Trump because he's the embodiment of evil and he worked with the Kremlin, and he's trying to tear away norms and traditions and destroy the planet and devour the entire country. But that's what Brian Stelter and everyone else in media, that's what they've tried to report or try to portray Trump as being, this devourer of worlds. And for people who aren't really into politics and they just tune into CNN or MSNBC and they just read the Washington Post and the New York Times, they think, this is to the left of center, and they're not really into politics. And by the way, hit subscribe to this channel. I've been telling you for a while Stelter was out, but hit subscribe to this channel. We're going to pass 200,000 subs very soon. If you want to read my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. Ladies and gentlemen, become a member also. If you want to support my work, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment and description. But ladies and gentlemen, there's no need for another Brian Stelter. The reason, though, that his show was canceled is the ratings were tanking. Trump leaving office, CNN... it has nothing to obsess over. See, Trump is a cash cow. He's like an orange cash cow for Stelter and CNN and Democrats and media. They made so much money fomenting lies and deceitful statements. They lied by omission. Trump did not work with the Kremlin. This is This was a false, defamatory, absurd allegation. It is completely irrelevant if Liz Cheney or if James Clapper or James Comey believed he could have. And by the way, Liz Cheney voted alongside Trump 90% of the time in Congress, by the way. So what she did was purely a financial decision. Going against Trump with the committee, trying to accuse him of something he didn't do. That's another thing. CNN, in front of a burning building, stated, well, it's mostly fiery but peaceful. Fiery but mostly peaceful. So they will ignore $1 to $2 billion in property damage, and I agree with why people were demonstrating. I agree with the cause of why people were demonstrating that summer. But if you're CNN and you're turned into a meme, your entire network is turned into a gigantic meme where somebody's standing in front of a burning building in flames, and they're saying that's mostly peaceful, and you focus on one day that a link to Trump, half the country isn't going to ever trust you. That's why we have a record low in terms of trust for media. They lie by omission all the time. They spin, deceive, weave this narrative that doesn't exist. Trump is not the embodiment of evil. Trump, in terms of the Doha Agreement, first president to step foot in North Korea, Abraham Accords, first president, the only president to allocate more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever, and make the funding permanent. And by the way, the Federal Bureau of Investigation hasn't, there's been horrendous tragedies associated with HBCUs that the FBI was supposed to investigate. So you can look, and there's an articles today, they've received, 57 institutions have been targeted, and nobody's been charged. So maybe the Bureau has been focusing too much on Trump. Trump is not a menace to democracy. See, there's things that the Bureau has to do. So 47 HBCU institutions have been targeted, not one arrest yet. It's unfathomable. Politico, no arrests have been made 6 months after HBCU threats. So then there's, incendiary devices being threatened against them without any arrests yet. Well, why not? All we've heard about is the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Trump. Well, I mean, they're supposed to protect this country from serious, actual, criminals, madmen, organizations that want to do harm, both inside and outside the U.S. Not Trump, a politician who presided over, like I said, the lowest poverty rate on record. That's according to CNN. And the highest household median income. Now we have 5% higher poverty. Recession. Hunter's emails show clear violations of the law and that he was selling out the country he was selling access to the United States government for money. That's worse than anything Trump has ever done. One person said recently in an interview, "Oh, well, Trump University is worse." Like, no, could you even compare the two? One has nothing to do with foreign policy and national security. The other does. But anyway, when you deceive, when you're blatantly trying to deceive people, and you have caused so much division in this country, yeah, your show is going to be canceled. But it's not just Brian Stelter. He's out. But it's the same thing with Chris Cuomo. It's the same thing now with Don Lemon. Same thing with Anderson Cooper. Same thing with Saturday Night Live. Jimmy Kimmel. These people have no business devoting their lives. Maybe you could say, people on CNN could do what they like in terms of journalism. But it's not journalism to devote your life against one man. And Saturday Night Live should be about, or Jimmy Kimmel should be about, late night fun. Not just an extension like Stephen Colbert of the Democratic Party. And so there's no escape from any of this stuff. And you're going to have people, I'm telling you, people on the left, people unfortunately, that you think are normal, the last remnants of normality, people on the left will continue to disown friends and family because they've their brains have been warped by CNN. And that is the most destructive part of this type of propaganda. You have educated, intelligent people truly believing the deceitful nonsense from these networks. And it's really, really sad. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Stelter is out. We knew this would happen, and we know exactly why. I'll be back in a couple of hours.